twisted. You never need anyone to expose you to yourself. And you never need anyone to raise you out of your mind. I never wanted to be someone who had to leave it all behind. Even still, there is no escape for what I faced before. Have whatever love you wanna have, but I can't be her anymore. There is nothing new.
Testing, check, check, check. Testing, check, check, check. Sound check with guitar. Checking the levels. Galactic rings like velvet on black. Check, 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 check. Testing.
Test mic, test mic. Hey everybody, welcome to Segue series in Artist Space. We will get started in a few minutes. So meanwhile, you can help yourself to a glass of wine or some seltzer or have an apple for love and good luck in these very confusing times. I have a saying, the world may not be sturdy, but poetry will hold us up. So we will see you momentarily. Thank you all.
Testing, check, 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 check. Can we hear the vocal just a little louder? Testing. How does that feel? Can hear. Hi, Joey. How are you? Check, check, check. Testing. Check, check. What do you think? Testing. Check, check, check. Testing. Sounds okay. If we turn this a little bit, it'll help me. But not right now. It's okay.
think I feel hurt. You know, I feel this hurt that these guys don't ever understand. Trying to look out. The only reason why we're moving back is because you're armed, guns, tear gas, riot gear, weapons, rubber bullets. That's what it takes for them to push us back. They carry weapons because they're scared. What does this land mean to you, this traditional land? This land means everything. Look at over there, all the buffalo. Look at all the buffalo. Look at all the
Hey everybody, make some noise. Please put your hands together. It is November 23rd. We are at Artist Space in Cortland Alley. My name is Reggie Kabiko. You are at the Segue series. If this is your very first time at a Segue series, could you please put your hands together? So, welcome. On behalf of the Gathering of the Tribes, my name is Reggie Kabiko. I am the executive director. We have had such a wonderful opportunity and a blessed opening of our fall programming in this partnership with Segue Series. If you don't know it, Segue Series is one of the longest running reading series right here in New York City. Yes, it is like at least 40 or more years and running. So we have to give, I have to give a big, big shout out to all the incredible Segue folks. particularly James, Sherry, and Lonely Christopher. Thank you so much for this opportunity, as well as Jake and the Door and Cecilia. Thank you so much. Shout out to the folks on our Zoom room as well. Shout out to Artist Space. Yes, shout out to Jay and to Daniel who's doing tech. As far as Gathering of the Tribes, if this is your first Gathering of the Tribes event, will you please put your hands together? Terrific. We are so excited that you are here. Gathering of the Tribes is a nonprofit, and it was started in 1991 by a professor, Steve Cannon, who is a playwright and professor. And on the Lower East Side, on East 3rd Street between B and C, he started this, how do I say it, this almost bohemian magical space where artists and scholars and writers would gather together and talk about art. Its roots are related to Antezaki Shange, Tulani Davis, Jessica Hagedorn, just to name a few. It is my honor to curate a program that brings a shout out to the poets who are here tonight, because we are celebrating 3 incredible poets on this finale. All of them have roots with tribes, and so I want to give a shout out to the iconoclastic, and Waldman is in the house, to the brilliant Noland is in the house, and the envelope pusher, Joey De Jesus, is also in the house. This is the final series of an 8-part series. In the past last 7 Saturdays, we've had Joan Larkin, Malcolm Tariq, who is in the house, Nancy Mercado, Slappy Chulo, Javier Cavazos, Pamela Booker, Cheryl Boyce Taylor, Thomas Fucaloro, Latasha and Nevada Diggs, Modesto Flaco Jimenez, Norman Fisher, the New York Neo-Futurists, Ji Leong Ko, Thaddeus Rakowski. I also want to give a shout out to the Incredible Tribes Board, especially Katie Johnson, Catherine Arnaldi, and a shout out to David Hammonds for their support. Also, I have to shout out some fabulous folks who are here. Shout out to Anne-Marie Baranowski and Steve Bryant and John Chadwick and Gerard Cabrera. Can we give them a big warm round of support and applause? They really inspire me here. So, also, I want to give a shout out. You will see a dazzling artist, Tracy Dawn Williams, who is really the heart and soul of Tribes. I would not be able to do this work without her. She is a brilliant photographer and professor. I'm so glad that you're here. So give it up for Tracy Dawn Williams. So a little bit about our poets. And Waldman is the author of over 60+ volumes of poetry, poetics, and anthologies, including the Ivis trilogy, Colors in the Mechanism of Concealment, which won the Penn Center Literary Prize. And Waldman co-founded the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics program at Naropa with the most celebrated poets in America, the Beat Generation. Noland's art and poetry books include Authentic Artifice and the Velvet Wire, co-authored with Anne Waldman. She's performed, which is just out, so we'll hear more about that. Noland has performed at the Poetry Project, Giorno Poetry Systems, Rewire Festival, Jazz Fest Berlin, Tribes, Roulette, and with the Ginsberg Estate. Her art and cinema works are in the Whitney Museum Digital Collection, Fotografiska Museum, Zebra Poetry Film Festival, and on the street corners of New York City. And we are going to start the reading with Joey De Jesus, who's authored Hoax, Limited Artist Set, and the chapbooks We, and animate the dream, a poet's run for public office, and not the threshold of madness. Recipients of a BRIC Arts FP Project Room Commission. Joey is co-editor at Apogee Journal and lives in Ridgewood, Queens, where they ran the New York Assembly District 38 in 2020. Please give a Segue welcome and a gathering of the tribes welcome for the incomparable Joey De Jesus. Keep it going.
Thank you. Yay! I've been looking forward to this performance forever. We're good to go for the video. So this piece is called Our Flag is Our Fire, and it borrows lines from Martina Spada and Pedro Pietri. Every open law book was a pair of hands upturned and burning, from Martina Spada's Who Burns for the Perfection of Paper. We are dying here, and I cannot fathom the thought that the greatest nation in the world cannot figure out logistics for a small island of 100 miles by 35 miles long. So Mayday, we are in trouble. Dying here, and I cannot fathom the thought that the greatest nation in the world cannot figure out logistics for a small... On September 29th, 2017, Mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulín Cruz, delivered a press conference in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, in which she pleads in English for federal assistance. I cannot fathom the thought. Called to worldly action, she throws 2 binders requested by the Federal Emergency Management Agency from the podium. By 35 miles long. So Mayday, we are in trouble. We are dying here, and I cannot fathom the thought that the greatest nation in the world cannot figure out logistics for a small glacidic xylist ice log lost to solicit logic, sis. Colt gets is illicit. I silo souls till sea glows clot. Soil to silt sigils, oh, I list costs. We are dying toss here, guilt to slot stoic log toils. That the greatest nation in the world logistics cannot figure out logistics for a small glacidic xylist ice log lost to solicit logic, sis. Colt gets is illicit. I silo souls till sea glows clot. Soil to silt sigils, oh, I list costs. We are dying toss guilt to slot stoic log toils. FEMA asks for documentation. I think we've given them enough documentation, and they have the gall this morning. Look at this. She throws the binders. Colt from the podium is illicit. Look at this. I silo souls. They think it weighs enough. Soil to silt sigils, oh, I list costs. We are dying toss guilt and slot stoic log toils. The greatest nation in the world. Logistics. Figure out logistics for a small glacidic xylist ice log lost to solicit logic, sis. Colt gets distance relative always. Where do you think you are? Reality is the floor of a coastal storehouse. Potable water and none to drink. High road ships up citizen, deadlifts led citizen. I cruise when I can't. Goya 12 subcategory of being habituating habichuelas. Look at this. Look at this. Stone semi-broke, flinging skull white paper to hog plum abundance. Spite for weight, height, the amplitude of apocalypse audible. I thought flying this paper white sheet above my head would safeguard my passage. Now my flag is this fire. Gravity rendered sensible, slam, sonic. To solicit logic, sis. Colt gets is illicit. I silo souls till sea glows clot. Soil to silt to sigils, oh eyeless costs. We are dying, toss guilt to slot, stoic, log toil. When shit gets real, people shut the fuck up. Roof loss, tarp life, thick present, living past. Do they think it weighs enough to solicit logic? This bulky, ray warped knowledge relative to worms. Silo souls to glows, clot. Soil to silt, sigils, oh If there is anybody out there listening to us, we are dying, and you are killing us with the inefficiency and bureaucracy. So I am asking the President of the United States to make sure someone is in charge that is up to the task of saving lives. On October 3rd, 2017, President Trump arrives in Puerto Rico, where he proceeds to throw toilet paper at hand-picked attendees. He attests he only heard thank yous from Boricua regarding his administration's response to the hurricane. The masses are asses after Pedro Pietri. There's a lot of love in the room of Cavalry Chapel in San Juan. Our country has really gone all out. Bounty, Charmin, Swish, the president airballs, paper banked. There's a lot of love in the room. Swish goes the shot, 2-ply, 4-ply, charming, quicker, picker, country. Is it really all gone? Out. President stunts a hoop dream, putting on his best Butch Lee, banking the love, banking the room, a lot of love in the hands basket. The foul line, a score of cane liquors, scoring cane liquor. Plywood 2x4s, the president points and shoots. Commander-in-Chief demonstrates minstrelsy, dispensing paper to the Puerto Ricans. Por favor, punctuates chatter. A woman louder than the mass shouts, El baño, el baño. Sitting president tosses TP at people in a toilet line. Someone back there has to shit. A line differentiates us from them. A budget slashed. A radioactive post voltage made private. The horde takes selfies, trumping each other's reach for the chance at paper. Wow. Logistics have been figured for the festivals commemorating our slaughter. How could I prepare if not by smoking sour, fruity, diesel-wrapped raw, premium red kidneys habichuelas for the side ache, I guess? How else prep a whirl of sabor if not con agua de coco de rattled war saber? The sea roars to wet, pa no wipe us wet with outstretched arms. No alms, palsy adults, stunned, astonished, from Latin tonare to thunder to be thunderstruck small. Might as well turn to smoke and eat beans, flushing eye from what I cannot fathom. I don the face of the dragon, fashioned of poetry project newsletters. I icon. Hand painted to strike down any god who'd avow such violence, who'd flatten our knowledge quest to paper and poison us, stamping our crowns another gold-leafed void, until we died needing to wrap our heads in wet towels, feed cupping our hands. Is duration the evasion of firstness to last? Bats dip into running waters, cooling down from record-breaking heat. The reddest of all scares, a liberated Borinquen going buck. Where have their echoes gone? And the ones for whom the rain weeps, if not Coebe, island's far side, a farce-eyed land. Hate in ejective sound, and a sea whose fiend soul is bigger than us all. Law of magnitude, law of threes. Curse your architecture of stick-thin mistakes. Savage, salvage, salvare, silva, a wood. Storm-fit bulk of the unsouling curse you are dreaming beneath the yell of a sick witch. You were disquieted by her shadow, and now you don her skin. Dear lesser gods who listen, dear ghosts of last year's hurricane, live as a knot in the gut. Nightshade, the shades of mica. No need for full moon rituals that incorporate milk. No need for enchanters' nightshade, fly poison, lizard tail, suet made of mutton's fat. Let that haunt your thoughts. Hate in ejective sound, and a sea whose fiend soul is bigger than us all. Law of magnitude, law of threes. Curse your architecture of stick-thin mistakes. Savage, salvage, salvare, silva, a woman. I do not know what I sure have today off to do. It's civilization that means the research and will snake the cloth different. The what of us here of us. If I see that, it's and if it's first, that's the rehearsal. See your fault, who's the kind fault. Oh, Senator gets a little sneak, so he's something. It was the question, yeah. Stars, there's no factor. I've seen them pretty news. Boy, there's a missile house. There's nation here. One beer for me. That's all. There's no more for Finland. Campus, the issue. When the on the civil, if there's a salvus, so there's no civil starters, sellers. I do not know what I sure have today off to do. The civilization that means the research and will snake the cloth different. The what of us here of what? Stay fast. It's and it's first, that's the rehearsal. Sierfall, Rustenkanval, Sanather Gipsolosi, Suhi, Satin, Moas, the Kashminski, Stars, no Fata, that's Dumperimpus, Oi, there's a Nizio Fell, Christians, there's Nation, Demon, Point, Beer, that's all, Shillumo for Demon, Campus, the Ishadian. Getting it on as a room, if there are salvas, sorters, and solo starter sellers. Mates are not even I know what I sure have the office doing. The civilization that means the research, and will spend the corporate months. The of us here of us. Stay that. It's and if it's first as the droppers. See your fault, please, the handball. Senator gets the little sneak, so he's sucking it. No ass the president's ear. There's no hat. That's dumping news. Boy, there's a missile now. There's national. Demon, one year book. That's all. The normal for Demon. Campus nation. Start the Nikan as a room. If there's a salvas, sorters, and solo starter sellers. Mates are not even I know what I sure have the office doing. The civilization that means the research, and will spend the corporate.
Sequence trapped in the aftermath of a collapsed binary star. I sang, I somewhere of the soul body singing wrong. No one tasted me so locked on a full worm moon that we found Venus, fighting operating over a lifeless province of debris. Unafraid of the breaking of the world, and prepare for life and rest on the cancer. The other was taken off behind us that scowl. Grabs the place, I found the way my brother was a holy god. Stuck the ocean on a dead bird. The world is not revealed in prophecy of the city streets. And listening. Like the empires collapse and stretch out your arms as far as they go to take everything you possibly can. Let the scroll up, rolling, ingesting in its jargon. What I have to hate honors me an eternity. Odd plums for lack of vigilance. Down top and king top. Blah blah. Strengthening the spirits of various passing in tribute to the sea. I split Solomon's cup with a phantom who drones of Sarcopola's poetic virtue. The moon imbibes in the shared eyes of our landscape. Our federal diphthongs, damning tongues, snafu. I gather feathers in the snow-white city where salads, where apparitions in regalia playing on red savage branches, where famines dispatch assassins rising gypsies, sunflower spells demanding my crying matter. The whistle failed all the stars in my body. I traveled in fear, weeping humbling songs without turning to falsehood. Took up bone of rosary after stretching skins like the aquamarine king. The fresh water I taught was contagious. I sat, spit shining the pearlescent heads of 6 hills, combing the teeth of my kind, decorating an alligator, chest painted, slug village, delirium tequila, my dead work each place I pray, is mine an evil heart.
Joey De Jesus, everyone. Let's give it up for Joey De Jesus. The book is A Threshold of Madness. If you just joined us, this is Segue series. It is November 23rd. I am Reggie Kubico. We have fabulous poets who are going to rock the mic. We have and Waldman and Noland. But before we introduce our next poets, I really forgot to give a shout out to this incredible poet. This series is co-curated by Drew Pissarra, who is a poet. Yes, shout out for Drew Pissarra. And we have had so much fun curating this. Drew has created some artistic offerings for our poets. So can we please give a lovely Segue, a gathering of the tribes, welcome for Drew Pissarra.
I actually first met Joey, I guess it was like 2 or 3 years ago, when he was doing some sound poetry in a hotel lobby. And it was amazing, and I was really looking forward to, and so enjoyed seeing tonight, just him taking us through the portal to another world. And I was thinking about that when I was making a piece inspired by his work. I spent the last week taking a deep dive into this work of his called Hoax, which is a series of hundreds of poems, beautiful work. And I made, this is my vision of this portal. Some of the poems in the book are visual poems that reminded me of a fingerprint. So I created this image at the top, and then Min Kyung Chung took this Polaroid of me. She's an amazing artist in her own right. And this is looks like I'm on the other side of the portal here. And then there's some lines that really struck me from his work. Release the seals on the real me. That feels relevant today. And then I foresee, foretell, forsake. Only touch could release me. So thank you so much, Joey. You're amazing. And now next up will be No Land. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, once again, let's give it up for Drew Pissarra, y'all. When I say spoken, you say word. Spoken. Word. Spoken. Word. When I say to be, you say heard. To be. Heard. To be. Heard. To be. All right, we are doing our little transition before Nolan gets the stage. But I also wanted to give shout outs to some other poets who are in the house. So we got Lee Ann Brown is also in the house. We have our featured poet. Last month, Nancy Mercado is in the house. And we also have Marcos de la Fuente in the house. Thank you. Let's see, we're gonna do a little sound check. And so I am, there is some more wine, and I love sitting where I'm sitting because I have those beautiful books, but I'm also got a bottle of wine, which can be really dangerous. So you could also have an apple or some wine. And I want to say that the apples were given by Deborah and Congo. So thank you to Deborah for the apples and some of the beverage. Before we do that transition, I'm just going to kick it off with the really, really short poems by Reggie Kubico. This is called Arctic Lover. After I removed my socks and underwear, he says, I'm not feeling so hot. That poem took me 6 years to write. It was actually a short story, but then I workshopped it. And I'm not workshopping that poem anymore, because it'll just be called. All right, love cycles. Elevating the human experience in poetry is a pickup device. But when I get the guy I want, I always get new material. This poem is a little saucy and racy. Are you ready for a little raunch? All right, when I say raunch, you say yes, raunch, yes, raunch. Yes. This is called culinary ejaculatory. You said it tastes like miso soup, but it's me, so. All right. How are we doing? Look at the. All right. How are we doing? Are we ready to go? Or... Oh, another poem. All right. This is in the Racy series. This is called Night of the Living Sex Toy. If you stare at a dildo too long, it becomes alive. Let's see. One more little itty bitty. Oh, by the way, can we give a big warm round of applause for our fabulous musician who will be accompanying Noland? We have the very talented poet and musician, Oliver Ray. Can you please give it up for Oliver Ray? One more thing that I wanted to add, and this is in regards to Anne Waldman, which I will, talk about later, but Deborah Edmonds, Congo, where's Deborah? Deborah, where are you? Are you here? Deborah. All right, so Deborah is an Anne Waldman fan, and she saw Anne Waldman maybe 2 years ago doing a reading at Housing Works. And Deborah said, in the year 2025, the world will be 80% women, femme, and older. And I don't know if you remember this, but then Deborah asked Anne, would you like to respond to that? And thought about it and said, alive! So anyway, all right, how we doing? Are we? All right, we are ready. When I say no, you say land. No, land. No, land. No, land. Without any further ado, the incomparable No Land.
Just want to call in the spirit of Steve Cannon and think of David Henderson and so many of the elders in the beautiful community. Very happy to be here with my mentor and beloved sister, Mother Anne Waldman. And thank you all for being with us. So good to be with all of you. I'm going to begin with a poem called Poet's Temple. believer in everything, no dogma, dogmatic, rhythmic rhyme could soothe a skeptic's spinning poet mind. Did you not summon the spot where you sleep through the sheer power of your mind's belief? Angel, you who magnify, questioning each twirl of dust, how to arrive in a place of trust in the shy lust for art and elevated but humble airs who guided you, spirits up stairs, up into the temple where the poets meet, the sheer power of belief. Mr. Ra with his real mystery with her ray, the magician's cloak of symmetries play, and fast can you turn toward the vanishing act where swaths of ice shoot shadows back, and pink fumes may cut your teeth and choke out the wish to speak. Don't tell too many about the incredible power of belief. Beware, travelers, the ills of conceit and charlatans with turquoise and teal types of meat, and remember the vow and the walk for the meek and the thundercloud that barrels down on our power of belief, the unknown source spooled from belief's golden thread. How angelic messengers will arrive at your bed with clairvoyant blue dog and the threads of telepathy, summoned by a toweringly clear power of belief. Each gathering a great blessing to gather among the faces, astro-galactic rings like diamonds on black velvet. Velvet as indication of truth, blackest absorption, prophetic, the beloved who is truthful by the heart. And Mary in the wind, whipping, had a thing of tears, which was direct arrow from the heart. Volcanic river rolling around, seeking the way past out. to know the meaning of the phrase from Deuteronomy, to know this day and realize it in your heart, to be able to feel another's troubles in your heart. It is possible to realize another's troubles and not feel it in your heart. If you do not feel it, you should strike your head against the wall. You should strike your head against the wall of your heart. Mercy-eyed, mercy, something you could see through. The translucent earth spinning. To see through matter into the core. Azan, compassion was a woman who could see through. Sister Mercy, as she was named in a rolling blue thunder. In a red veil, lifting the swirls of layered realities, the spinning arms of compassion to see through matter into the heart jewel of things, with the walls of reality burning in spark and ash. Chrysanthemum rising in the dew brain, poet writhing in the fabric of the Palestinian diamond tear, the dissonance erupting across many galactic rings, Rubiconic, oracular, peonic, blinking all the threadbare notions, walking the space of an iridescent poet. Fire poppy grows from the flame, lineage, ash, falling rain. You could be fragments drowned in the river. You could be rising and evaporated. Iridescence could be black night, weary-eyed, seeing through to the other world's blue flower floating on Highway 9999999. Like a lady sweeping up on the rings of Saturn. Could be thinking like a shaman throwing up the frequency. Could think like saint. Could think like snake surrounding the saint. Could think like gossip being the devil's teal radio and do escape. Like talking out both sides of your tongue, like aquatic bass booming from the tiny taste of a nectar womb. How many different types of mind could be worn at a time? Planetary dissonance arises. The ancient Celtic armies, each side had a poet to retreat hillside and thereby discuss each side's version of events. And the planet hanging, and the air hanging, disorder glowing in the trees. Mystery was an orphan sonnet, meaning the mantras didn't hold her vastness. When she spoke, awaited a psychic on a silent vow. And the poet is off stage somewhere eating red tape. And the poet is on a silent vow while speaking. She waited for a meta, more sonic poet rings who swept the gold dust on a peony eye. Who didn't say, wonder why, no God better than I. Sweeping up on the rings of Saturn, the residue of a painted lie, the teal trace of a translucent cape billowing as mystery fled and with liberty escaped. Heed the space to which you are called, a jeweled sword tongue that slices the satin shards of a false reality billowing. There is a world hovering and blue fizzing that hangs above this consciousness to be my bride, this holy text to be my bride. Lifted from the mad space with no crown of tears left to hide behind, you are called, follow the road and hold to the translucent thread that binds. The consciousness of the hovering spine to halo felt Mary in her howling tears, and the bombs on orphans, on refugees, and Mary howling for infinity, blowing somewhere in the ether. Every word assassinated, interpreted, and bound and tied in a gold thread of agreement, but her mouth was a reliquary. Don't mind her thievery. She is just a reliquary for bygone poets, and fragments are her currency. Bygone poets who protected infinity and mystery and vast black velvet flight. I wandered again in the world a while below. Draped in the dew brain, swallowing tincture of emptiness again and again and again. a peonic blink on the threadbare notions, walking the space of a cursed poet, renunciates anointed highway as amulet in a singing wedding dress for creator, wandering the way past out. Wandering down the avenue past dogs abandoned and every man's exploding chest, hissing, foul, shame, demon marionettes. Following down the tracks, hermetic boxcar tulips speeding through empty heartbreak again and again and again. She wore a headdress, flaming tulips and the dream elixir on the tiny tip of tongue, tiny tin spoon on the tip of tongue, speaking with anti-philosophic angels, false prophets, nuns to be her guide. Seeking to leave not a trace, seeking to leave world liberated from painted cakes, seeking the invisibility of compassion's jeweled flight, spilling infinity fabrics upon monastic night. Thank you. We have a very special treat. We are going to have a brief collaboration moment with myself and Anne Waldman. We are celebrating the release of our book, The Velvet Wire, which came out with Granary Books, and we now have a beautiful second edition that we're in the works of. So we're just going to read briefly a little bit from that collaboration. And thank you to Anne for so many things. And we're lighting a candle for this moment. So beautiful. Thank you. Okay, does the candle light? Okay.
Yes, we have the velvet wire.
Do we have... Is that mic work?
And an incredible collaborator in no land who works so assiduously and is so passionate.
Sure.
We were inspired by a book of Gregory Corso's, published by Bardo Matrix. Maybe some of you know that press, with extraordinary paper and
Made by Ira Cohen in Kathmandu, and I found it in Oliver's library, and I said, "What is this
thank
object?"
you, Oliver. Galactic rings like diamonds on black velvet.
Anne wrote this part. Seeking Velvet is texture as vestigial memory. Now you are Animalia, wired in kind with her hoofprints for the universe, a city hallucination.
Then setting of the stage for this high rhetoric of epic feeling, vision, clairvoyance, a tapestry of listening, learning, leaning, maybe we establish moonlight in clear voice and voyage and pour libations over investigatory poet, head, heart, hand collaboration, the jewels in the net, not one way of becoming devotional, summoning, riling, conniving, sculpting, concocting, staging, see with breath possibilities of antithesis, reality, never doubted, filigree work, twists, threads, weaves, turns, plates, entwines.
Beautiful. Poets in a lineage, flowering at the cranium, these threads pulled around the planet, so full the saturated pearl couldn't accept one more poetry. But new workers kept coming, rising out of the sea and cement, to pass down notes and keys and scrolls and the sounds sending out call and vow to poets disappeared and present, translucent plagiarisms, records from these plains, the act of kinship, a city gate where you are taken by your own volition to your relatives.
Sound arises, which is daughter of God's voice, word, and emotion saying here, you are here, larynx in the making, everywhere, daughter who vexes night.
So there's a little bit of correspondence in the book. This is not the one. Dear abandoned desire, the crying men in courtroom theater throne chairs are getting born all the time. The red wound smoke bomb left effervescing flooded the treasure chest, overtook the bedroom. A fiery carpet spilled out into the street and encircled the earth. I think it behooves me to investigate
This gathering is a
this
relic
emotion,
of
reliquary of
transmission,
mine.
is an accession,
Walked
an
through
occasion
Midtown
of blending
and encountered
energy,
abandonment
edges,
and betrayal.
painterly composite
The
desire,
demon
dregs
marionettes
investigation.
pulling
Where have you been,
heartstrings
my darling young
in
one?
every oil man's
Cinema's other side in
briefcase.
dawn trance to take down.
Hissing
We were
foul
referencing
shame
you as Sister
into every
Mercy
small
in the
child's
charnel
chest.
house, in the catacomb, in the taxi cab rain. I gave you a red scarf. I carried it around on every journey I went and was tablecloth in my
Dear
rose.
Aunt,
Was
if
Joseph
the
of
fog
Arimathea,
is
shepherds
thick
in the hardest
near the
rain,
water tomorrow,
and was
we can wade in it.
callous,
I will bring the red
woe,
scarf and a
man
few
wearing a
props.
crown of faces,
I did
secret
some
joy,
sleuthing at dawn this morning at the tower
perishing toward
to
love,
see what it would be like
perishing
at the
toward
main
love,
entrance.
Hafiz, long for argument, looking for release, blossoming towards love, perishing towards love.
Apologies for rambling about bodhisattva sanity, but I think you are in a crucible spot. Drop anger. Look at the big picture. Don't tarry. Thank you.
The velvet, no land. So we'll take a moment just to move off this beautiful table. Come up and look.
Let's give it up for Ann Waldman and No Land. All right, here is some more offering. Uh, so I'm going to bring back Drew Pissarra, who has an offering for. Uh, yeah, we're doing a little. We are doing a little segue. Get it? Segue. We're doing a little segue. Because Drew Pissarra has created offerings for No Land and Waldman. So. Without any further ado, let's give it up for Drew Pissarra. Alrighty.
Okay. Thank you so much, Noland. I was thinking a lot about, I was thinking a lot about correspondence and also just about taking a deep dive into the different poets this week. And I actually made Noland a little present with a little ribbon. And the packaging of this is very much based on the last few months with a number of the poets. I've been going to the Beinecke Library and taking deeper dives into the poets' works. And like this week with Anne, I read Oh My Life and On the Wing, which are books of hers from like 1968 and 69, back when like poets' books were Xeroxed off at the copy center and stapled together. So I actually worked with staples a lot this week too, inspired by it. But this packaging mimics a lot of times when you get these precious books from the research library, it comes in a very special envelope that opens in a specific manner. So it opens out and then the sides open as well. And I was thinking with Noland just in terms of working with a muse, and I have my own muse, so there's little headshots of my lover, Sak, who's an amazing artist in his own right as well. And then I love the correspondence in Noland's book with Anne, so I pulled excerpts, and these parts kind of pop out of the book and unfold so you can read them. And this part in the center is actually a discarded cassette from an instant photo, which I thought was a good place to house them because Noland works in a lot of media, and I wanted to honor that in this gift as well. So this is my gift for Noland. Thank you so much. Wonderful. I'll reassemble it. Yeah. And then for Anne, because Anne was like the foundational muse this week, I would say. And when I was looking at their new book, which is amazing, Velvet Wire, and I loved how it was alternating even just in the visuals with black and white. So I was thinking about like foundational elements. So there was a poem in an early book of Anne's called Open Letter to Ted Berrigan. And there was a little section in it, which I really loved, which was a little rhyming section. And it's taking us around the cube, and then you go inside, and then there's a pyramid where it continues, and then you go inside, and then there's a circle where you can read the whole thing. But I'd like to read this little section aloud, if that's all right with you, Anne. I loved spending time with your poems this week and looking at the early work and just seeing that it's been there since the beginning and it's continuing right now. Really beautiful. So if it's not too nuts, I kind of want to do this as a kind of call and response where I say the line and it's repeated because it's a beautiful, just an 8-line poem and it rhymes and I think it'll sound really nice as a group. So I'm going to say the line and then you'll repeat. That sounds okay? Okay. What I mean is serious. What I mean is sad. What I mean is loving. What I mean is mad. What I mean is stupid. What I mean is bright. What I mean is darkness. What I mean is light. Thank you so much, Anne.
Without any further ado, let's give it up for the incomparable Anne Waldman.
And I'm joined by the wonderful Devin Braja Waldman, my wonderful collaborator of many years, my nephew, Devin. So welcome him, a major musician and performer. So happy to see so many of you here and so many friends and in this magical space and creating. I don't know what we're doing here. We're having ceremonies, rituals, trance, beautiful, incredible, I don't know what to call it, protest. If I see that paper towels going one more time. Anyway, it was uplifting in some weird way because we've got, got the picture. Very precarious times, which I think makes us closer. Thank you. So just thinking of all the people challenged and harmed with the time of dissembling, breakdown, where language is so harmed and distressed, calling, I think, to all of us as writers and artists. So we'll keep it up in our antithesis reality of southern Iraq, who sits by the waters between worlds, writing himself half man, half book, writing as he reads a life sentence. His hand under his own binding, his shroud, his turban, writing, or like the rabbit scribe of the potent Maya, or Thel, her own book already written, or hail the size of image transference. Compass advocates a kind of mapping or roading, still matter-bound, hold a while, and sometimes the interpreter balks. Not just 13, not just a fairy tale, not talking about whole communities of resistance. Literary, too, ask about the home they live in, unspeakable poverty, those who rise from disto. I gather round a compass, if you not arise, arise, arise. Why not come to aid of, why not now compassion? A compass trembles. Have this heart already occupants in ranks of lost empires brought to knees. Math couldn't save us. Who measured this? Who measured this? Who made this? I did. But if you fuck with this, my remnants, you will be dust. Whose message breaks off here in arrogance, resembling the ego proclamation, Kune, a form of so long ago, Nimrod's ruler, citadel, gone to ruin. For the urn singer, the urn singer, angels, demons, resolve deathless sleep. Come out of amnesia's Cloud join the urn singer who turns on a gyre. Turns on a gyre. Written bodies, dream bodies, spinning bodies, finally protest bodies emerge from the documentary she narrates. What you voiced in above the transitioning, occupying the street, the fallen city, the library. And all writing decides the galaxy, all writing resounds planispheric history, all writing stars astound, not be victim to satisfy appetite, all writing in fact cuts up history will decide. Rambo, your heat of the world, role model to cut YLs, every Rambo's mother's nightmare to rise up, oh, outside, inside, surprise side. Get cracking on an earpiece, oligarchies of the world, slice the woes of women along delineation. Longer than would be counting, this a whisper, enough of whisper to rise up and wiser, oh streets of the world. Commission over her to spin a terrain, a soldiering one. She wanted to soldier out of here. She wanted to soldier what streets of the world to spin rubrics. Yes, she wanted to soldier. She wanted commerce, no, tanks of the blown off world, earth and rising, beauties of the world, cyborg offshore, a of major spills and elsewhere, no, better invite the Amazons in, cut the dialect, the binary, the dear word so precious, and cut the forbidden, dear futurist, dear poem, dear soulful stone. They use the machines to take the streets out of the streets of the world. Horizon, headwater, cut the cable, my beignets, my appetite. Poor politics, reconstitute polis, but ban the exclusion of women of the world, the changing women of the world. Waters of the corpse world in media, cut lines, manipulate desire and show the word, don't detonate anyway. Hassan, Isaba, production, textiles, they distend and descend from Pandora. Or Rex Tiller's sons, a Hex Tiller's son, tilling the field, a cultivation of one. Angora of shreds, a mythically shredded world, and bleeds the world. Tools in the lab make women open tomb and alley slither cut. Oh, bleeds the world, where voices tremble and troubles sleep. is weeping of the world. He won't accompany my poetry when I use the word resist, testosterone. Da 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 da. We're coming out of our little theaters of hope and fear to a city near you, and we'll breathe again on the streets and liberate the hall of justice. And we are the antithesis, reality, and all is brought to transparency. Twilight cannot be delayed. And this is the antithesis, reality, and it's a deluge of fire, of climate apocalypse, watching the bloody moons and magenta skies, of dust and smoke, dynamite the sky, roiling in polite society in a gentleman's agreement in the sick corridors of corruption. Da 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 da, and the fix is in. The fix is in, the fix is in, and nano-racism and hydraulic racism haunt the premises, but this is the antithesis, reality coming at you, can't pull the wool over reality's eyes. And the security state thrives on insecurity and a war on daily life itself. Call in the paramilitary, summon the Space Force, and we're taking down the assault, damming up rabbit holes of disinformation. This is the We're slamming your politics of de-civilization, not risk the lives in tenderness toward those beings in time of war, cruelty, brutality. And we're coming out of our little boxes, hope and fear, to a city near you, a town, a crossroads, and we're turning down the static, voting against capital's extraction of all from all, and we're masked and mouthing the takedown. Voting against reification of land, of living and regenerative earth. All peoples, all organisms of water and air, voting against borders, drones, cages, and carceral torture, voting against the military, nocturnal, techno-surveillance complex in which power gathers and pools, congeals, and kills. Oh, bare life! Nothing left to hide. Oh. Power gathers on the flip side of the monster's cheap penny. Oh, xenophobia, no, xenophobia. And we cheer proliferation of difference because we are the antithesis, the antithesis, and we are entangled in the beautiful rhizomes of difference and growing closer. Earth, our charge here. Extract the hours and the arrows of broken-hearted America. I'm a wrecker. We're going to morphosize this techno, thanato, porno, punked out, punked out empire to the inmost fabric of the 1,000 things of this world. Don't lose your mind, don't lose your mind. Oh, money boom, oh, money boom. Don't lose your mind, don't lose your mind. Don't lose your mind, don't lose your mind. Don't lose your mind, don't lose your mind. Don't lose your mind to the end time. Rehabilitate the dreamer's demeanor, for she is reminded that all is not told in one night of this body. Thell's tale in its length and stretch, cajoled in mind stream, it takes purely verbose inclination. The story resists the penetration of unwelcome mind. It wants kindness, it wants desire to be transcendent. You desire me, you desire the world, little discernible things. But pleasure, what is it? Dedicate merits of pleasure. Are you lost in them? Steve Cannon, have you circled the asteroid yet? And will your desires stave off end time? Will it procreate the deafening decline even more? What terrible decisions that guilty men go free in the mind of end time. The pheromones are binding in the mind of the end time. Immersion without guidelines, but can you have it both ways? It happened, it hasn't happened yet. It happened, it hasn't happened yet. Two other bodies in the bed in the mind of end time. Censored for sexual ambivalence. How alive the other arenas mount and cheer. Now climax in end time. A kind of restitution all the way down. Are we still beautiful in our sex? Touch a sacred equinoctial place. Oh, dive in. Oh, dive in. End time, rack the brain, a ghastly repeating in the limits you would need hours to pull together. Climax change in the mind of end time, a political document seared with rankle and surprise. It attested to unknown centuries. It wanted retribution. It wanted settlement. It wanted closure. The trials of all unborns would be closure. Document would be attested to with witness, and the dead would speak. It would repay, it would reaffirm, it would revisit, it would reevaluate, it would reify, it would respond, it would be respondent, it would reinvent, reinvoke, recover, revitalize, it would recalibrate, record, recriminate, recoup, recant, recruit, recooperate, recuse, recycle, redeem, deploy, reenact, re-enter, re-enter, reflect, refract, reinforce, reassume. No long timer resins and residues, but the process announces itself in amber and ink. Rerun, rescind, let up the ers and rs and whirs of discontent. You will reschedule end time, hold off another day. The assignment was to write as if we witnessed the last hours on everyone's clock. And as if in quest, and as if in problem solving, resistively readjudicate something resolved. A clod of the clay in every city. Questions for citizens under rubric of investigative poetry, that poetry should again assume responsibility for the description of history. Ed Sanders. When was the Federal Reserve created and by whom? Who was second in command to Jefferson Davis and considered the brains of the Confederacy? And what was the primary material factor in British sea domination? And what was Ezra Pound right about? How many things don't make sense about the Bering Straits theory of migration? And what might that mean? And who funded the Confederacy and why? And do you accept the premises of the Warren Commission? And do you accept? And what about Balfour? And who assassinated Ghassan Kanafani? And where did the assassination take place? And who was Ghassan Kanafani? And what was Dewey Canyon? 3. Why did the Confederacy have to import hay from north of the Mason-Dixon line? And who assassinated Naji al-Ali? And where did this take place? And who was Naji al-Ali? And what happened in Bengal during World War II? And what does the term false flag mean? Please identify at least 2. Why did U.S. and Kurdish forces provide cover for up to 4,000 people associated with ISIS leaving Raqqa, including fighters and weapons? And do you think this was the case? And do you think elements of the U.S. government capable of creating ISIS? And do you think this was the case? And who assassinated Jean Senac? And where did this happen? And who was Jean Senac? And where was Soha Bishara imprisoned? And why was she imprisoned? And who is Soha Bishara? And who kidnapped Mordecai Vanunu? And where did this happen? And who is Mordecai Vanunu? And where was he born? And what does an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth actually mean? And what is the origin of this formula? And what are we talking about? And what is an alphabet of logarithms? And what is a primordial black hole? And what is a bubble universe? And where are we? And who's backing the new Confederacy that never dies? And who are the big brokers? And why is there so much on Russia? And why won't Palestine ever be free? And it is spiritually free. And whose interest is this apartheid? And what is the, and do you think was allowed to, and why was attacked by, and does one see fear in Lindsey Graham or Jeff Sessions or McConnell? And that aggrandizing 6 smile, which is a predatory gesture to all of them of the face, the jaw, the mouth, related to atavism. Atavism. I did not declare it so, Sessions said in answer to a question by Representative Karen Bass of the Black Caucus about Black Lives Matter. And did you see this? What is the modus operandi of Alabama? And Stephen Evil Miller, now exposed of ripping infants and children from their mothers, and ICE whose ads resemble ISIS ads, e.g., we're coming for you, we're coming to kill you. Who designs these ads? And do we borrow this strategy from our perceived enemy? And do you know what a Hell Yara is? And do you know how many days you might freeze in a Hell Yara? And what is the reaction of white people to their own demographic demise? And how far will they go? And what is crimigation? And what is your personal zero tolerance? And what will you not stomach? And what put chlorine in the water for immigrant children? Who? Where's the outcry? Who? And what is the BIE movement? And what about the unexposed scandals of Vietnam, the operations in Laos like Dewey Canyon 2? And how many people died in the Korean War, both North and South? And what was our role? And do you know? And is there and was there this? And who was Judah Benjamin? And where does your water come from? And do you think black holes materialize out of clouds of dust? And what is the Axion dark matter experiment? And do infinite other worlds exist in probability space? And what does that mean? And what are the Gedanken experiments? And who coined that term? And what happened 1 second after the Big Bang? And what is a beauty hadron, a silicon sensor? And where are we? In what collider? What is a decay project? And what does skillful means mean to you? And who was Rafayat Alarir? And what is the poetry course taking place? Where, what is, and what is it? And what is the origin? And what are we really doing about? And how many weapons on the, and where is anyone working with? We're still in. And what is the warmest year on record? How many immigrants are in U.S. detention centers on any given day? And what are plutonium pits? And what are jellyfish babies? Thank you. So I'm going to thank you so. Thank you. I'm just going to close with a short poem for my grandchild, Cora by Anaya. Some of you know she's 4 years old, turning 5 soon. Her first poem was, she lives in Mexico. Her mother's Mexican. She's doing ballet and learning. She's very bilingual. I'm afraid I won't be able to talk to her soon. I've got to see her. It took very long for the people under Trump to get her American passports. So a little bit of tenterhooks on that, but she's dreaming her crown in this poem. Cora dreams her crown. This is when she was almost a year. And there's a Maria Sabina line here, because everything has its origin, and I'm going place to place from the origin. Devin. Oh. For your niece, little Cora. Cora. Tenterhooks in an experiment. Classroom gone empty. Fearful pandemic. I write truce with a new alphabet. Forgetting truth. Unceded territory of Ute, Cheyenne, Arapaho, how far we go, a century. Who reads future weather? Keep writing from stage left, do lessons for treatise on sleep, invite numbers and chants op, as seer of calculus, as topos abuelita, perhaps a wrong occasion, but spiraling. They'll be back. Please come back. The storm knocked the power out, and we bed down instead in another room. Mexico, estates of the Nahuatl, stylus and astrolabe, with soft animals, lunar moths, mastodons. Cora Bebe in charge with her velvet chaplet, sitting on haunches, equinoctial. She's always rising, her wand, her crown, her formidable beauty. Animals frightened in the rain, and texts soaking wet. What is erased is problematic. You want to cry, but rescue invisible scripture, spiral memory, telepathy. I have memory, she says. Girl Cora studies, older now, writes between rounds of crystal ammunition, her dream. Cora, 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 Cora. For those children everywhere, thank you. And thank you, Reggie. And this is everybody here. Very heartening time. Thank you.
Ann Waldman, everyone. Thank you, Ann Waldman. Thank you for being a friend to Steve Cannon and to A Gathering of the Tribes. Thank you to the Segue series. And at this point, I want to bring to the stage Lonely Christopher from Segue, poet and playwright.
Thanks, Reggie. We've had so much fun hosting Gathering of the Tribes. This was an amazing event. Thanks for being here. We're going to take the week off next week due to some manner of holiday, but we're going to be back on December